Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, is a 2013 comedy film directed by Adam McKay and starring Will Ferrell, Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, David Koechner, and Christina Applegate. So a summary of the movie. Ron Burgundy, portrayed by Will Ferrell, and Veronica Corningstone, portrayed by Christina Applegate, are happily married co-anchors for a prominent news network in New York City. Everything is going great until New York's most famous night news anchor, Mac Tannen, portrayed by Harrison Ford, decides to retire, promote Veronica to take his place, and fire Ron for his poor performance.
You are the worst anchorman I have ever seen.
Aren't you the guy who lost his job to his wife?
Jealous and furious, Ron leaves his wife and son behind and heads to San Diego, where he starts working at SeaWorld and manages to get fired from there too. Freddie Shapp, portrayed by Dylan Baker, an executive producer at the world's first 24-hour news network, Global News Network, approaches Ron and offers him a job. Ron goes on assembling his old news team and becomes an even bigger success than he was before as he creates a reformation in the news world.
We're starting a 24-hour news channel, and we want you.
I'm gonna do the thing that God put Ron Burgundy on this earth to do. Have salon-quality hair and read the news.
So that's basically how the movie goes. To people who have not seen Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, which is the predecessor of Anchorman 2, the sequel might seem somewhat funny. However, to those who have seen the original and were excitedly anticipating the sequel, Anchorman 2 will come off as a disappointment due to the high standards that the original had set. To give it some credit, the movie did have several funny bits, but it also had way too many parts in which the actors seemed to be trying too hard to come across as comical and failing to do so. For every 5 funny bits that it had, the movie had 10 bits that were supposed to be funny but were not.
What about the time that you dared Cham to drink that beer stein full of woolite?
He drained it faster than you could say, no, don't do it. That's the equivalent of drinking poison.
Oh, Lord. I was in a 6-month coma. They say from the neurological damage, there's no way I live past 55.
A factor that might have played a role in the movie having many dull moments is that it was simply way too long. In spite of the fact that it has a proper and defined plot, 2.5 hours are way too long for any comedy movie, because it's almost impossible to keep the audience engaged at a comical level throughout that whole period. In addition, the attempt to dazzle the audience by bombarding them with so many great actors and actresses in one instant at the end of the movie comes off as a desperate act aiming to persuade the audience of how great the movie is. Nonetheless, one very powerful and positive aspect of the movie is the satirical stance it takes on certain issues regarding today's media. This is certainly the one feature in which it outdid its predecessor. The movie addresses the issue of how most news agencies care only about ratings and not about actually sharing the news with the world. It also mocks the notion of synergy in the media and how it has resulted in the corruption of many news agencies by forcing its employees to either highlight or discard certain stories depending on the effects they will have on the conglomerate. In addition, the undeniably close resemblance that Kench Allenby, portrayed by Josh Lawson, the ingenious Australian media mogul, has to Fox News mastermind Rupert Murdoch, further empowers the message.
There was a time when news was a noble trade, built on a foundation of journalistic integrity. But then it became salacious and just plain stupid. All thanks to one visionary news team.
Good evening. Tonight's top story is crack. Why do we have to tell the people what they need to hear? Why can't the news be fun? Yeah!
Overall, from a comical viewpoint, Anchorman 2 is a disappointment and does not live up to the expectations that the original had set up. However, the supposedly hidden messages of the sequel and the issues it addresses are much more powerful than the original. This is Noura El Sharif. Thank you for listening.